Hi Stampers, this is super awesome Stamper Shirley Merker. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, USA. Thanks for joining us on our first Friday night in retreat. Tracy Held from Australia and I will be demonstrating projects throughout the night for you using your make and take packets, and we have a few additional bonus projects along the way to share as well. So in your packet, if you're in the US, I included 1 foot length of these ribbons. Pretty sure it was these ribbons because I've tried to keep them separated in my bin to make sure you all got the same ones. So use those ribbons as you'd like to decorate your fall cards. All right, so I'm going to set that aside. So look in your envelopes and look for the packets that have the Cajun Craze card base. So take everything out, set the envelope aside, and see what you got. So there should be 2 same size Very Vanilla pieces, a piece of Designer Series paper, and then some die cuts and punches. All right, I'm going to set this towards the back there so we can just have a visual for what we're working towards. So I'm going to do the magic of television, and while I'm talking, hopefully you emboss your card fronts. So I embossed this Cajun Craze using the Old World map, and you can just see the difference that it makes. And the actual sample, though, that I have here is embossed using the subtle embossing folder. I know that's probably hard to see because it's subtle, just like the name implies. So it has a light little linen look to it. So use whatever embossing folder you have on hand. All right, and then we're going to work on the stamping first. So take one of your Very Vanilla large pieces and also your classic label punch. Open that up. And then we are featuring the beautiful autumn stamp set tonight. So I've already mounted the hay there, dipping it in the Cajun Craze ink. Trying to make sure I'm lined up on camera. Ooh, that looks pretty good, pretty straight. So the hay there fits perfectly in the classic label punch. So I'm done with that stamp. And then we're gonna work on the inside, which is have a beautiful day. So I wanted to share that even though this is a straight line stamp, since it's a photopolymer, we can curve that a little bit and make it a little bit interesting. Let's see, I think I had the curve going like this. So if you get your stamp set, you're gonna pick it up and decide how you'd want it curved. Well, isn't that interesting? I curved it an opposite way of what I had on my card. Maybe I should use my card as a sample and bend it to where I want it. So bend it to where I want it. There. And looks like I picked up some little dust while it's been sitting here. I've been using this stamp set for the past few days, so I haven't put it away. And if you watch my my Facebook page, I did major house cleaning last weekend, fall cleaning. Not all the way done, but pretty much got most of the dust bunnies out. All right, so have a beautiful day. And this, so when you do your words at a curvy design instead of straight, you don't have to be so particular in making sure it's straight on the card. So I love to do this with my word stamps that I can. All right, and then we have to do our stamping with our skeleton leaves. So we've got the maple leaf already attached to a block. Going to put the oak leaf right below it. And the acorn just directly below that. Now, the stamp set does feature these shadow stamps, but I opted not to include it on this design because the pattern paper that we're using has the open design. All right, so we're done with the Cajun Craze ink, so set that aside. All right, and I'm done with the paper piercing mat, so you can set that aside. set our sample card there, and we will start assembling. So this is the piece that goes in the inside. So I've got my Stampin' Seal. Actually, this is the Stampin' Seal Plus. So I first had the Stampin' Seal and I didn't have any problems with that. And the Stampin' Seal Plus has got even more adhesion qualities. So if you need a little extra tight stickiness, adhesion qualities, Stampin' Seal Plus is the one that you want. All right, I had to cut away because I had started to assemble without wrapping my linen thread around the designer series paper. So let's do this again. All right, so you got your card base. So I had to run another one through my embossing machine. And if it's not quite straight, just grab your bone folder and make it straight. There we go. Okay, so your first layer on the top is your Very Vanilla piece. And that you can attach to the front. And then before we attach our designer series paper down, locate your linen thread. And this is just an end from some kits. It wasn't enough for one of the kits. So what I'm going to do is attach some of the adhesive on either side, because we're going to use that to anchor our linen thread there. So, and I see I've wrapped it, looks like 3 times. 1, 2, 3. All right. Right, so add your adhesive, and then take your linen thread through the center of your designer series paper, meet the edge towards the bottom, kind of anchor it with your finger, and then start wrapping around. Because if you look at my sample closely, I'll bring it up to the camera once I'm done wrapping. I'm not going to do a bow on this card. I just want to do a knot. So I need some ends on the front so that I can thread my acorn trinket. So here's the acorn trinket. And what I'm going to do is meet the tails in the center. And grab my paper snips and just snip that off so I can work with this. Okay, now just judge your linen thread wherever you want it, and you can place it on your Very Vanilla piece so you don't stick it somewhere and pull up your scratch paper. So see what I did? I have my tails in the front. So we need a little bit of the tail action in the front so we can thread our acorn trinket. And you should be able to thread it pretty easily. It's a pretty big loop on that trinket. And I would thread it through one side, like go through the left of that trinket hole, and then come around through the right side. That way when you tie a knot, it's going to be secure. I'm just making sure that's in the center of the designer series paper. And there, you can double knot if you'd like, but single knot works pretty good. And then if your tails aren't quite right, you can go ahead and trim those off. All right, next, pull in your story label punch and some adhesive on that. Oops. Okay, got some adhesive off the back of that story label punch, so I'm just going to wrap it back around. And I'm going to center that on the card front and press down. And then this little die cut piece was from the Forever Greenery dies, Forever Flourishing if I'm right. If not, I will add a comment below. So that was the suite that Tracy was featuring, but it just had an appropriate shape to go with the open leaf looking gold branch. Let's call it a branch. All right, and next you're gonna have to locate all of your little punches. There should be a maple leaf, an oak leaf, and an acorn. There we go. And I popped those up on our mini dimensionals, and then I added little pearls on either side, kind of forcing your eye to go up the swag of foliage. Then there's a larger pearl at the top there. Okay, so mini dimensionals are next. All right, and I would just start with the maple leaf or however you'd like to position your leaves. And then your copper oak leaf. I had extra from punching a ton of bows on that copper paper, and what was left fit that oak leaf just perfectly. So thought we would jazz that up a little bit. And then the hay there that we stamped on the classic label punch, I'm going to put a mini dimensional one on either end. Pull those off. And I have it overlapping the little branch die cut, kind of hanging off the story label punch on the right side, just making a lot of interesting angles there. All right, so we can move some of this out of the way and then bring in your strip of pearls. So I included a strip of pearls in your kit. And looks like I did the large one at the top. And then the little minis. Kind of forcing your eye. Oh, I've got a little extra space up here, so we're going to put one maybe right there. And then one right there. And maybe one right here. So a little different pearl positioning than my sample, but I think that works. So sample card and then that card. Oh, and well, because I had to stop the video, here's the inside for there. All right, stay tuned. We're going to meet back in the Zoom room to chat a little bit. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're missing all the fun. Maybe you'll catch us next time with our next Friday Night In. Thanks for watching. This is Super Awesome Stamper Shirley. Bye.